Some stories don't just entertain you, they stay inside your head. They twist your thoughts, question your morals, and make you wonder what sanity really means. These are not your regular anime. These are the ones that break your mind. Tonight, we enter the world of darkness, obsession, and truth that should have stayed hidden. Here, every frame feels like a whisper from your subconscious. Once you step in, there's no going back. Number 10. Paranoia. Agent A. Mysterious boy on rollerblades strikes people across Tokyo with a golden bat. It sounds absurd, but nothing about this show is simple. Paranoia. Agent takes a single act of violence and unravels the web of fear, lies, and hysteria that spreads through a city. Every episode explores another human psyche cracking under pressure. The show plays with perception and reality until you no longer know what's real. Each character carries a secret, each smile hides trauma. The story turns paranoia into a living thing, feeding on guilt and denial. It's not horror in the usual sense, it's psychological terror that seeps slowly into your mind and never truly leaves. You begin to see how fear connects strangers, how panic becomes unity, and how one myth can shape a city's fate. By the end, the Golden Bat isn't a villain at all. It's a consequence of everything people tried to hide. Number 9. Serial Experiments Lain. What if your identity could be uploaded, duplicated, or erased? Serial Experiments Lain is one of the most complex psychological anime ever made. It follows a quiet girl who discovers the boundaries between the internet and reality slowly fading away. The deeper she dives into the digital world, the more she questions who she really is. The anime feels like a dream that turns into a nightmare. It explores loneliness, technology, and the human mind in ways that were decades ahead of their time. Every line and silence is a piece of a larger puzzle about existence itself. You don't just watch Lain, you get lost in it. Every sound, glitch, and static noise feels like a heartbeat of something alive. The deeper you go, the more you realize the world of wires and code is no different from the human brain. Both are full of ghosts. By the end, it's unclear whether Lain ever existed at all, or whether she became something beyond human, living forever in the space between thought and connection. The series becomes a mirror that forces you to question your own sense of self in a world that's always online. Number 8. Ergo Proxy. In a future city surrounded by wasteland, humans and androids live in peace until one android gains self-awareness and commits murder. Ergo Proxy begins like a mystery, but unfolds into a deep journey of identity and morality. The world is gray, emotionless, and suffocating, mirroring the mental decay of its characters. Every episode peels back a new layer of philosophy and fear. It questions what it means to be alive, what makes a soul, and whether truth is even worth finding. Its dark beauty and slow-burning tension make it one of the most haunting anime ever created. Riel Mayer, the investigator, becomes the lens through which we experience this dying world. Her struggle isn't only to solve a mystery, but to understand her own reflection. The more answers she finds, the less they make sense. By the end, the line between creator and creation disappears completely, leaving you with a single disturbing thought. Maybe the only way to feel alive is to lose everything that makes you human. The haunting music and silence make every moment heavy with meaning, as if the entire world is holding its breath before it dies. Number 7. Texhnolyze. In a decaying underground city, humans replace their body parts with cybernetic limbs to survive. Texhnolyze is brutal, slow, and unnerving. It doesn't explain itself, it lets you drown in its atmosphere. The silence, the hopelessness, the way light flickers against broken walls, everything builds dread. This anime feels less like a story and more like a descent. The further you go, the more it strips away humanity itself. It's philosophical and emotionally heavy, showing a world where progress means losing your soul. Few shows capture despair this authentically. There are entire scenes without dialogue, yet you can feel the tension pressing against your chest. The world feels like it's gasping for air, slowly collapsing under its own decay. By the end, when the last remaining bit of light fades, you realize the story was never about survival. It was about understanding why humanity stopped trying. Each broken face and silent scream tells you that hope is just another illusion in a world built on ruins. Number 6. Death Parade. After death, Humans don't go to heaven or hell. They go to a bar where a mysterious man named Decim makes them play games to reveal their true nature. Death Parade is stylish, haunting, and full of moral questions. Every episode begins like a simple judgment, but ends with an emotional collapse. It's not about who wins or loses, it's about who you really are when everything is stripped away. It's dark, emotional, and philosophical, a perfect balance of beauty and sorrow. The ending will leave you staring into nothing, wondering what it truly means to live with regret. The quiet bar becomes a mirror to the human soul. The players are desperate, angry, terrified, yet through their pain, Decim learns more about life than any of them. It's a rare story where the judge becomes human and the dead teach the living what it means to feel. In its silence, you find truth. Judgment is never about others, it's about what you can't forgive in yourself. Number 5. Monster. A kind doctor saves the life of a boy, only to discover years later that the boy grew up to become a serial killer. Monster is one of the greatest psychological thrillers ever written. It's not about supernatural horror, it's about the evil that hides behind human faces. Every conversation feels dangerous. Every choice carries a moral cost. The story dives into the darkness of humanity, guilt, and obsession. Johann Liebert, the villain, isn't just terrifying, he's hypnotic. The deeper you go, the more you question whether saving one life was worth destroying so many others. The genius of Monster lies in its realism. There's no magic, no fantasy, only people, and that's what makes it horrifying. It slowly convinces you that evil is logical, that darkness can smile, and that monsters are born from mercy, not malice. By the end, you'll realize the true monster isn't Johann. It's what he brings out in everyone around him. Each scene feels like a moral test, and every character is one step away from losing their humanity forever. Number 4. Welcome to the NHK A Shut-In, who believes everything is controlled by a mysterious organization called NHK meets a girl who claims she can save him. What follows is a journey through paranoia, addiction, and self-loathing. Welcome to the NHK is raw, darkly funny, and painfully real. It doesn't glorify mental illness or isolation, it shows the confusion and emptiness that come with it. The series mixes comedy and sadness in a way that feels disturbingly honest. By the end, you don't just feel sympathy for the characters, you feel seen. It's a story about failure and fragile hope. Every time the main character tries to change, he falls back into fear. Yet every time he's about to give up, something or someone pulls him back. It's dark, awkward, and uncomfortable because it's so true to life. It shows that sometimes surviving your mind is harder than surviving the world. It reminds you that healing isn't dramatic, it's painfully slow and sometimes invisible, but it's still real. Number 3. Perfect Blue. A pop idol leaves her group to become an actress, but soon finds herself haunted by an obsessive fan and her own reflection. Perfect Blue blurs the line between illusion and insanity, until you can no longer tell what's real. Every frame is designed to make you uncomfortable. It's not just a thriller, it's an exploration of identity, fame, and mental breakdown. The tension builds so slowly that when it finally snaps, it feels like your own mind has fractured. Few anime have had such a lasting influence on psychological cinema. It exposes the price of fame and the fragility of perception. The story pushes you into the head of a woman losing her sense of self, trapped between who she is and who the world wants her to be. It's both terrifying and tragic. You begin to understand that madness isn't a sudden break, it's a slow unraveling that no one notices until it's too late. Every reflection feels like an accusation, and every shadow hides a version of yourself you no longer recognize. Number 2. Neon Genesis Evangelion. What begins as a story about giant robots saving the world turns into one of the most emotionally and mentally intense experiences in anime. Neon Genesis Evangelion takes its characters through depression, guilt, and trauma in ways no other series dared to. Every episode breaks the boundaries of storytelling. It mixes action, psychology, and philosophy until reality starts to fall apart. It's not about fighting monsters, it's about fighting yourself. It's chaotic, painful, and unforgettable. The kind of story that changes how you see the human mind forever. The ending is famously abstract and confusing, but that's what makes it perfect. It isn't meant to answer questions, it's meant to make you ask your own. It forces you to face your fear, your loneliness, and your desire for meaning. It's the story of every person who ever felt like they weren't enough, told through the collapse of the world itself. Even in its confusion, it feels honest, because confusion is part of being human. Number 1. Death Note. A student finds a notebook that allows him to kill anyone by writing their name in it. What begins as justice turns into obsession, and what starts as good becomes godlike arrogance. Death Note is the definition of psychological warfare. It's not about power, it's about the corruption of the mind. The battle between Light Yagami and L is one of the most intelligent duels ever written. Every decision, every glance, every word is a weapon. The story forces you to question morality, justice, and whether anyone deserves to hold absolute power. It's dark, thrilling, and perfectly written. What makes it genius is how convincing Light becomes. You start to understand him, even when he's wrong. You feel his pride and fear as he slowly loses his humanity. It's not a story about right and wrong, it's a story about what happens when brilliance turns into madness. And when the final moment comes, you realize the monster wasn't in the book. It was in him all along. The haunting truth is that anyone could become Light if given the same power, and that's what makes it unforgettable. Some stories entertain you for a night, others live inside your mind forever. These anime are not for comfort. They are for reflection, discomfort, and truth. They show that the mind is both the most powerful and the most dangerous thing we possess. If one of these titles left you uneasy, that means it did its job. Because great psychological stories don't just show darkness, they make you feel it. Thank you for watching, and remember, the scariest place you can ever explore is your own mind. Once you enter it, reality never feels the same again. Subscribe for more cinematic anime journeys and stories that make you think twice.